Bottom line is gold did outperform stocks and bonds since January 1st, 2022. It's also outperformed the stock market since January 1st of the millennium. And now over 50 years, it's outperformed bonds. If you want $5,000 gold, then you want President Harris. Gold will certainly get to 5,000 faster, if at all, if she took over, and many of the similar policies that have already been in place would be compounded by even a more liberal, hard left view. But at what cost would that $5,000 gold be to you? I don't think our living conditions would be anything remotely close to what we've grown accustomed to.
On Tuesday, the price of gold set a new all-time high, propelling the cost of a single gold bar to over $1 million for the first time. So far this year, the premier precious metal has outperformed stocks. Despite the S&P 500 having gained a robust 18%, the price of gold has risen 22.7% in 2024. For context, this is the most dramatic rise in gold prices since the pandemic, resulting in the metal gaining 25% between March 2020 and August 2020. Prominent financial analyst Peter Grandich underscores that gold has outperformed stocks and bonds since January 1st, 2022. Despite gold performance, the mainstream financial sector still treats it like kryptonite, making gold an under-owned asset with significant growth potential. On Tuesday, Carsten Fritsch, a precious metals analyst at Commerzbank, raised his year-end gold price target to $2,500, an increase of $200 from the previous forecast. These comments come as spot gold currently trades at $2,504.10 an ounce, down from Tuesday's session highs and remaining roughly flat on the day. With all the factors in play, Grandich predicts that if gold were to double and reach $5,000 in the future, it would likely be due to a significant worsening of economic, social, and political conditions. However, he still sees substantial upside for gold over time, particularly for those seeking capital appreciation. Now, we present the clips of Peter Grandich's insights from his recent interview. Before we continue to discuss this, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
Well, it goes back quite a bit. It almost goes back 10 years when gold was in 1300 stage. And then in the end of 2021, I became so enamored with gold that I felt it would outperform both stocks and bonds. And for myself, I sold all general equities and bonds, equities that weren't related to natural resources. And told anybody that, not many people fit that mode, but those that did, it was worth doing. A handful of our clients did. Bottom line is gold did outperform stocks and bonds since January 1st, 2022. It's also outperformed the stock market since January 1st of the millennium. And now over 50 years, it's outperformed bonds. But you would never know that based on there's no fan clubs for gold on Wall Street. It is still treated as kryptonite. And what's interesting about that, Elijah, is the central bank's banker, the Bank of International Settlements, went so far as to make gold a tier one investment a few years ago, joining bonds. And yet the world I see in our planning group is full of bonds when potential clients come in, and almost no one really has physical bullion yet. I know your listeners do, and thank God they did, because they should be real happy that they listened to you. But by and large, it's still not something that is even remotely close to fully owned, let alone overly owned. So it still has a ways to go, in my view. So the only change, I would say, and with due respect to your work, and I happen to like personally because of our shared faith, it's not as cheap as it once was. I think anybody that says that would be erroneous. What I think is important to understand is what's caused it to get where it's gotten to, and are those points still as valid today as they were before? And the answer is yes. But to double from here, and let's just say you somehow saw the future and said to me, Pete, I went in this time machine and I went 3 years ahead, it's $5,000. I would say to you, Elijah, as bad as we think things are now, they must have got 10 times worse. And here's the bad news, or good news if you own gold. Who's to say that can't happen? Given everything that's happening economically, socially, and politically, how could anyone stand here in the complacency that's just so abundant among the general financial service community and the general investment community? Given all the things that are happening, it is a legitimate possibility. And that's why I would still say that it still has substantial upside over time for those that are interested for capital appreciation. But as you know, I've stated for virtually my entire 40-year career, you buy gold in your portfolio and hope it doesn't go up. And I always tell you, the people that are sitting down the first time, they look at you and go, Mr. Grandich, why do you want me to buy something that you don't think is going to go up? And I'd always say basically the same thing, because if it does, what I see here in your portfolio is likely to go down, and you need insurance. And I always ask, you have car insurance? They say yes. Do you have home insurance? Well, you need portfolio insurance. So minimally, especially people that still find themselves very ownership of financial assets, should own gold and hope it doesn't go up. Hope I don't have to call Elijah to sell my gold for profit, because if I am, chances are my general financial assets didn't do as well.
Under Democrat-controlled Congresses, gold has averaged a 20.9% gain, compared to just 3.9% when Republicans control Congress. In cases where neither controls Congress, gold has averaged 3.5%. From a political standpoint, Peter Grandich strongly prefers Biden over Harris. He criticizes Kamala Harris's performance and indicates that if she were to take office, she could push gold prices to $5,000 more rapidly. Though this year's presidential election may have a limited effect on the price of gold, a rate decision by the Fed may impact the metal's price. Decisions made by the U.S. Central Bank, which the president does not control, strongly impact the U.S. dollar and thus often impact the gold price. Gold tends to rise when rates are lower and fall when they are high. But this year, it has reached all-time highs in the face of elevated rates. A post-election rate cut could boost gold further, but with Fed meetings still to come in September, it's not yet clear how the November meeting will play out. In the face of current trends, Grandich also questions Harris's economic plans, suggesting that Trump has a more robust economic strategy, expressing confidence that Trump would likely win. Let's get back to the interview.
Hold on, I'm just going through a shake even thinking of that, so let me get through that shake. Listen, I had told you about President Harris because you know that I said at the beginning of the year, I felt one, if not both of them, who were the leading candidates at the time to be at Election Day, Biden and Trump, would not be on the Election Day ballot, if you remember. And sure enough, the Biden was the easier one because his health, clearly there was something wrong with him and it got acute. I also said at the time, as bad as Biden is, I take him 100 times over Harris. I don't believe Harris is winning. I mean, that's just, I can't say it for certain. Every other indication is when you look, Trump gets overwhelming attendance. Barely people are showing up for hers. The moment she tries to speak on her own, she's just, I mean, really bad. But like you said, it is a possibility that she could win. If you want $5,000 gold, then you want President Harris. Gold will certainly get to 5,000 faster, if at all, if she took over, and many of the similar policies that have already been in place would be compounded by even a more liberal, hard left view. But at what cost would that $5,000 gold be to you? I don't think our living conditions would be anything remotely close to what we've grown accustomed to. And I think as a Catholic Christian, it's already getting a little bit of a challenge to show your faith and wear it on your sleeve. I can imagine 4 more years with wokeness being leading out of the White House, how difficult that would be. So yeah, there is a dramatic difference in both of them. That's one thing that can be said in this election. Business-wise, how they plan on going. First of all, I don't believe she has a personal own economic plan. I don't believe Kamala Harris, has her own idea and thought. I don't think she's had an original idea since she's been in politics. I do believe Trump does. I believe that's the difference. Whether you agree or you like the way he says it, that's another matter. I believe he brings to the table much more needed economic business sense than her and her running mate can be. But I also believe the polls are a sham. I don't believe she's remotely close ahead. There's nothing to indicate it. Whenever you speak to people that normally you would expect to be on her side, people are being shocked to find out that they're actually talking about voting for Trump, and the Trump people are stronger than ever. So I'm a believer that that is not the real case. I'm not telling people to go bet online on the presidency, but man, if you ask me where my money would go on Trump or wouldn't be bet. I wouldn't put a nickel's worth on her winning the presidency.
Several financial analysts predict that gold prices will continue to gain ground, supported by forecasts that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates later this year. According to Patrick Yip of American Precious Metals, the $3,000 mark could be reached as soon as next year if geopolitical issues and central bank demand persist. What factors do you think will most significantly impact gold prices in the coming years? And how should investors prepare for potential volatility in the market? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the following video.